definitely some room for improvement here. But recoil impulse is actually not bad at all. All right, now that I know the gun's running actually pretty nicely without anything on it, I'm gonna try running it with the can on it. And what I've got on here currently is my current favorite can. This is an Aegis Defense Fire Team. Oh, this thing is stupid quiet with the can on it. Hey, it's Matt. I am out at the range today with this. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw a quick little video I did of this thing over there. This is the Global Ordnance Monolith. This is like a version 1.5 or a version 2, at least according to the guy I talked to at SHOT Show regarding this firearm. There's a couple things I've added on here. Iron sights, got an optic, got a sling, and I've got a light and a forend. The thing I really liked about this that intrigued me about it at SHOT Show was how ridiculously light this gun is for a 16-inch rifle. With everything that's on here, this gun weighs 7.8 pounds, as you see it, and no mag in it. It's a 16-inch barrel, 1 and 7 twist, 5.56. This is a direct impingement gun, but it's got no standard AR buffer system. It has a forward charging handle on the left side of the gun. I believe, in looking at it, it can be reversed. However, the gun doesn't come with any kind of a manual. So if I were to try to do that, I would just be winging it. And I'm a right-handed shooter, so I don't need it on the right side of the gun. So I didn't mess with it. It has ambi controls on the lower, full ambi. So you got a mag release, you got a bolt catch, and it's a bolt catch and bolt release. That said, the bolt release does not work very smoothly on the right side of the gun. Left side of the gun, it works fine. On the right side here, it has a very abbreviated paddle. Like the normal ping pong paddle is not there. It has just a little nub on the top of it. And the only way to depress it is by using the ejection port door. In dropping the bolt, I haven't even fired this gun yet. In dropping the bolt, just handling the gun, it's already starting to bend and dent the ejection port door where it interacts with the bolt release. So that is less than ideal for a right-hand side control. This can be done. The brand new Geisley works exactly like that, except it actually works very easily. Just tapping the door with your trigger finger drops the bolt very easily on the new Geisley. Not so on this. So like I said, this is sold as a Global Ordnance. It is made by FM Products right here in Boise, Idaho. So that's another reason I wanted to review it. It's a local product. I like the look of it. It's very light. I like forward charging handle guns. I like guns that have folding stocks. I'm kind of concerned about this one though. The fit and finish is not great. The fitment between the handguard and the upper is horrible. There's actually a very noticeable height difference here. I mean, by noticeable, it's like a 32nd of an inch, but it is there. You can see it. The lines on the side of the receiver do not match up to the lines on the handguard, and these are all proprietary parts, so there's no reason they shouldn't match up. I saw this thing at SHOT Show, and like I said, I was impressed by it. It was light, and it was very smooth at shot. I was playing with one of the guns there. This one, like, bolt is seriously got some hang-ups. So I'm concerned that this thing's even going to function properly. This will be my first attempt at chambering around with this thing. Looks like it went in. Oh, I didn't mention this. The safety on this is absolutely horrible. Like, it has the detent barely works. I have no doubt that in shooting this, I may accidentally activate it, because it does move very, very easily, like accidentally easily. But let's see how it shoots. It's throwing brass at, what is that? 1 o'clock. Well, you're definitely not going to be pelting the guy next to you with brass because it's throwing it almost straight forward. Other than the one that barely fell out of the gun. Well, the mag works. I'm going to put some more rounds through this thing. The recoil impulse is actually not bad. And it is running a little bit smoother than I expected it to. Let's see here. Has it gotten any? Nah, it still has that hitch. It's very weird feeling. But it is working. So, can't knock that. Time to relocate the camera. I'm going to put on my belt so I can carry a spare mag and start running this thing. So far, I'm actually, it shoots nicer than I expected it to. So, initial impressions may have been wrong. See how it goes. Keep on shooting. So this is also something new for me. It's going to take me a little bit to get used to. I really do like Primary Arms micro prisms. Normally I get them at a 0 magnification. This one is a 5 power. So it's going to take me a little bit to get used to it, especially because I'm left eye dominant. So when I try to look through a magnified optic with my right eye, it takes it a minute. But I'm trying to get used to it. Not working that great. I do like that though. I like having that right side bolt catch. The bolt release sucks. And I apologize, it's a crappy windy day out here, so there's probably gonna be a lot of wind noise. All right, so my initial impressions regarding the fitment here and this, dead on. Regarding the function of the gun, I'm happy to admit I was wrong. I thought for certain I would be selling this gun when I was done with the review, but quite honestly, kind of impressed. I'll probably put a different optic on it. Not too much, not digging on the 5 power. At least not for what I'm doing here. But the gun shoots nice. Not a fan of the trigger. The selector still sucks. So there's definitely some room for improvement here. But recoil impulse is actually not bad at all. And by the trigger sucks, honestly, I think that's a selector issue. Because this is a Schmid flat face single stage trigger. I'm very familiar with this trigger. But the problem I'm having on this gun is there's a lot of over travel after the break. It's actually, I mean, it's throwing the brass almost straight forward, which to me is odd. I'm expecting it to go 3, 4 o'clock, especially for as soft as this gun is shooting. But it's putting it all in a nice pile. So it's very consistent with how it's throwing brass. I want to put some more rounds through this thing. Keep shooting. I'm kind of digging it, honestly. All right, now that I know the gun's running actually pretty nicely without anything on it, I'm going to try running it with the can on it. And what I've got on here currently is my current favorite can. This is an Aegis Defense Fire Team. Oh, this thing is stupid quiet with the can on it. I don't know if you can see that. I am getting some gas buildup back here. And I did notice it, although I do have a really good crosswind, kind of, where's it coming from? About here. So coming right across my face, going that way. You can see the gas going that way. Wow. This is definitely making the brass fly further. I mean, it's going 25 feet that way on about the third round. So as the gas is starting to stack in the can, and it's definitely getting gassier. That's DI gun with a can on it for you though. So that's with a lower back pressure can. I brought out my Otter Creek Polonium also. All right, got the Otter Creek Polonium on here. This is a 5.56 can. That right side bolt release, not getting any smoother. So 5.56 can, this is traditional welded baffle stack. This is not a low flow or a low back pressure can. So let's see how it does. Ooh, definitely noticeably sharper recoil impulse. And my brass is flying even way further. Like it doesn't even take any stacking. And I'm throwing the brass further than I was before. So it is not making the gun. It's definitely cycling harder. Recoil doesn't feel significantly harder. I'm just concerned that it's going to beat the shit out of itself. And it's definitely gassier. Even on this windy day with glasses on, my eyes are starting to water. I'm going to go back to the Exigent Defense Fire Team 5.56. And I'm hoping maybe that thing will loosen up. God, this selector is horrible. Well, that's odd. It did not lock open. Potentially mag related. This is an older metal mag I have. Actually, is this an older one? Take it back, this is a brand new H&R mag. Okay, put the H&R mag on the table. Came back here with a couple other mags with only a few rounds in them just to see if I'm having any bolt locking open issues or if I can pretty much attribute it to that mag. That one locked open fine. Where did I put that other mag? There it is. So it is having issues. How many rounds am I into this gun? I'm 140 rounds in, and the gun is starting to experience like some short stroking. See how my fantastic purple Lancer mag does. I'm just checking to see how close I'm getting. I am noticing also the fencing around this mag release is really tight on the button. So unless I nail that button dead on with my trigger finger, I'm getting difficulty to release that mag. So something worth noting. The fencing is good. It being that close to the button, I mean, like there is literally a 1/16 of an inch of clearance between the button and the fencing. That can be an issue because if you go to hit it and I'm pushing the button as far as I can, but when my finger hits that fencing, the mag ain't coming out. Something else to be concerned about. But like I said, recoil impulse on this thing is nice. All right, so I got some mixed feelings on this thing. And again, here we go. Right side bolt release. Here, I'm gonna come in close so you can see how much this door is flexing. It's not me faking it. It's horrible design. I think a little bit of improvement on this gun. Better trigger, better selector, better QC. They might be onto something. Locked open on that. Before we dive into talking about this gun and how I did it at the range today, I do want to throw out thanks to my channel sponsors, Boise Black Rifle. Boise Black Rifle. Big thank you to them. They are the longest running channel sponsor. They do a lot to help this channel. Huge thank you to Boise Black Rifle. Aegis Gun Care provides all the lube and cleaning solutions that I use here on any of the firearms that I am shooting out here. And they have their brand new suppressor cleaning system. So if you own suppressors and you don't want to sit there scrubbing them, take a look at that. I did a video on it. You can look through the channel and you'll find that video. Great system, works fantastic. Aegis Gun Care, big thank you to them. And then last but not least, my most recent channel sponsor, Wasson Watch Company. The watch company that knows what time it is. If you're considering picking up an automatic field watch for yourself, definitely take a look at Wasson Watch Company. Their automatic field watch is phenomenal. It's gorgeous. It is very well made. And Wasson Watch Company is veteran owned, American owned. They are as pro 2A, pro America as I am. I am very proud to have them as a channel sponsor. Huge thank you to Wasson Watch Company. And because it's not gun related, I can actually offer you a discount code. So if you use 2A Cops over at Wasson Watch Company, they'll get you 10% off. Check them out, Wasson Watch Company. All right, I'm out here in the garage now, and I am sitting here holding the Global Ordnance Monolith that I got done shooting about a week ago now. Shot it last week. Didn't have time to film the follow-up on it, which is probably good. Gives me a little time to think about this. Did not put a ton of rounds through this. In case you're unaware, there is a pending ammo shortage. All the ammo that we normally at the gun store get through distribution is now on allocation, which means your sales guy has to sell it to you. You can't just log in and buy it off the website. So there is going to be an ammo shortage. Based on that, I did not put a ton of rounds to this thing. I only put 220 or so rounds through it. So let's start with the good. This gun is super lightweight. I really like how light this is. Like, I mean, literally, I am not Arnold Schwarzenegger. I can hold this gun out like a pistol, and it is not bad. Very lightweight. Even with everything that I have on here, including this not super light primary arms SLX 5X micro prism. Not a super light optic, not real heavy, but it's, I mean, it's a big optic. I've got a light on here. It's a smaller light, but I've got a light on it. I've got a 4 on it. As it sits, this gun weighs 7 pounds, 7.8 pounds. So it's pretty light. I do like the pistol grip. It is not made by Global Ordnance like I thought it might have been. I found it online. It's actually pretty comfortable grip. I kind of like it. Good grip angle, good texture on it. No complaints about the grip. The ergos on this gun are very good. All the controls on the lower are going to be very familiar to anybody who shoots an AR-15. Selector's right where it's supposed to be. It uses an AR selector. It uses an AR trigger. It is AR compatible as far as magazines go. Your mag release is right where a standard mag release on an AR is. It is ambi. There is an ambi bolt catch on this gun. The only control that's not where you expect it to be is going to be the charging handle, which I'm not opposed to forward charging handles. I own lots of guns that have them. I actually like them. The controls are going to be mostly familiar. It does have a folding buttstock. It does not use a standard AR buffer, so it allows it to have a folding buttstock. This buttstock is actually one of my favorite modern folding buttstocks. It's made by F5. This is the same stock that comes on a lot of the Palmetto State Armory Jackals, unless you opt for the B&T stock. So there's nothing wrong with this stock. Some people will complain it's a little flimsy. You can flex it. I am not that guy who's pulling the gun into my shoulder so hard that I'm flexing stocks. I don't understand people who yank a gun into them that hard, but some people do. Of the 220 or so rounds that I put through this gun, I encountered no feeding or ejection malfunctions. That's the good. So the bad. There's a few things. This gun is not perfect. As far as functioning of the gun, I did encounter either 2 or 3, and I have not reviewed the video to count. So I will update at the bottom of the screen down there. Failures to lock open on empty when the gun started to get dirty. So at about 100, and this is not super dirty, at about 150 or so rounds, I started encountering failures to lock open on empty. It occurred with 2 mags specifically. One of them was a brand new H&R metal mag that came with an H&R 733 that I bought. The gun is not the smoothest cycling, even when it's clean. See if you can, my mic's on me. See if you can hear that. I mean, it's kind of crunchy. The lever, the charging handle is not smooth. You can definitely tell it's hitting certain things in there, like when it's folding the hammer back, you can really feel that. Let me drop the hammer. Like, you can feel it fighting the hammer, going back, and then the recoil spring assembly is kind of bizarre the way they have it set up. So the charging handle here is a tube that goes back, and it goes over the recoil spring guide rod that goes into that tube. So those two things guide it together. The recoil spring is short because it doesn't have a buffer tube. So the recoil spring is a very short assembly that sits up here in the upper receiver. I will show you that here in a minute when I break it down. Speaking of some of the problems, the takedown process for this gun is a little bit bizarre. Okay, I mentioned disassembly of this gun can be a little bit difficult. The first time I did it, about shot myself in the eye with the recoil guide rod. So let me grab, this will work. Let's talk about, I figured out 2 ways to disassemble this gun. So again, it pins together just like a standard AR. It's got the 2 takedown pins, front and rear, same exact location as they are in an AR. What you can do is pop the rear pin here, but when you try to open it, you can see right there, the recoil spring guide rod has a detent that it sits in on the rear of the lower receiver. And if I can get this angled just right, that right there is a hole where you can push on that recoil spring guide rod. Now I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to try not to shoot myself in the face this time, which I almost did last time. There it goes. All right, so I've got it staged right here at the top rear portion of the receiver. But it is, all right, so there it is. That's one way of doing it. The other way I figured out to do it, because then trying to get this thing back in is fun. See if I can do this while it's put together. So what I'm fighting right now is trying to get this little skinny guide rod here has to slide into the tube that is the charging handle. And I can't do it without kind of looking here.
3 hours later.
I'm telling you, this is a horrible, not user-friendly design. All right, we're back in. Now I have to hold this depressed. I swing the upper into place. There we go, or the lower into place. Let's get that pin out. All right, so now my upper and lower are pinned together, but my guide rod is still not where it belongs. So now I have to try and, oh shit, it just went down too low. There it goes. Way less than ideal. And it doesn't come with a printed manual, so I had to figure it out on my own. I'm not gonna scan QR codes on my phone to try and read a manual. I wanna just have, God, give me a 2-page printed document, please. Other negatives, fit and finish. I mentioned this in a quick little Instagram blurb that I had done. Fit and finish on this thing is not fantastic. I like the design of the lower. I don't have any problem with the little fencing areas that they've done there cosmetically. But the fit and finish between the handguard and the upper receiver is pretty bad. They're both proprietary parts. It's not like they're buying random hand guards and upper receivers for an AR and putting them together and they don't match up. These are parts that are made specifically and only for this gun, and they don't match up. So that's a little annoying for a brand new $1,200 gun. I think one of the things I already talked about it, is that just that crunchy cycling. One of the other things I addressed in that Instagram video of mine, the selector that came in this gun, I've already replaced it because the selector that came in here was absolute garbage. There was almost no noticeable detent to keep it in place. I replaced it with a Radian selector here, and this is an older Radian, and Radian was not always known for having the clickiest selectors, but this is like 100 times better than the one that came in this gun. The one that came in this gun, if you just barely touched it, it would come off of safe or off of fire, depending on which way you touched it. It was horrible. It was ambi, I'll give them that, but it was garbage. And something that I didn't notice until I got out on the range and started shooting is the mag release button here has fencing around it to protect it, which is good, because you don't want to bump your gun on your gear and have the mag fall out. So you don't want your mag to accidentally drop, but you also don't want to fight your gun to release the magazine. If you look, the clearance between the fence and this mag release button on both sides of the gun is so tight that unless you nail that button dead on, if your finger's a little low, you're going to hit the fencing and you won't be able to release the magazine. Same thing, if you go too high, you end up hitting the bolt catch. So it's not ideal. It's good to have the fencing. The button didn't need to be that big. If they put a standard size AR mag release button on here, they wouldn't have had that problem. But they made the button bigger, and they made it so big that it sits so close to the fencing, you can actually hit the fencing and not be able to release your magazine. I'm sure if I trained on this gun all day long, that would not become that problem would go away because I'd get used to exactly where that button is. But if you have more than one gun and the other gun's an AR, this could potentially lead you into a problem. How did the gun shoot? It actually shoots really nice when it functions perfectly. Disregarding the negatives on it, the gun cycles very soft. It shoots, I would say, on par with some of the lighter recoiling ARs that I've fired. The trigger that comes in it is a single stage Schmid flat face trigger. I don't dislike the trigger in this particular gun, and I don't know if it had anything to do with the selector or maybe it's where they drilled the pinholes for the trigger and the selector. It has a lot of over travel, which is kind of abnormal. I've used this trigger in other guns and it doesn't have that same amount of over travel. In this gun, let me again clear the gun. So you can see there's zero take up, single stage trigger, zero take up, but I got a little bit of creep, then it breaks and I've got at least 1/8 of an inch of over travel. Trigger pull weight is probably 6.5, 7 pounds, not horrible, but that over travel bothers me. Beyond that, again, the gun shot really nice. It is not, and I'm potentially thinking maybe running the suppressor on this did cause some of the failures to lock open because that happened as the gun got dirtier. The gun's going to get dirtier quicker when you're running a suppressor on it, no matter how good the suppressor is. Even the best flowing suppressor does increase back pressure. Some of that dirt's coming back into the gun. This is a direct impingement gun. In other words, the gas tube is running all the way back here, and then this is where it's forcing the bolt carrier to the rear. So that gas is venting back in here into the receiver. Putting a suppressor on that is forcing more dirty gas back into your gun, so it's going to get dirtier quicker. That could potentially have contributed to the failures to lock open that I encountered. I don't know, but they do make the gun in a couple versions. This is the threaded barrel version. They call it the Monolith because the barrel, gas block, and in most cases muzzle device are all integral to the barrel, all one piece. The muzzle devices that are integral are dead air chemo suppressor mounting attachment system muzzle device. So the gun's obviously designed to be suppressed. So the fact that running it suppressed with a exigent defense Fire Team 556, which is a low back pressure can, that the gun got dirty enough in 220 or so rounds to start encountering malfunctions, actually 150 or so rounds to start encountering malfunctions, is concerning. So there's no ability to put an adjustable gas block on here because the gas block is part of the barrel. And you can't just replace the gas tube with something that has a adjustment into it, you couldn't modify the gas tube to do that because the gas tube is not a standard gas tube. Speaking of potential issues, so the gas tube comes out of the barrel at a 45-degree angle, and then as soon as the gas tube comes out, it makes a 45-degree bend. Gas tubes are the weak point on AR, on direct impingement guns. They are the weak point that will fail first, and they fail at the bends. And on a standard AR, the bends are very minimal. They're 10-degree bends. This one's got a 45-degree bend in it. So if you were running really high rates of fire on this thing, I would suspect that your gas tube is going to be the first thing to go, and it's going to go probably quicker than an AR gas tube does, just based on the fact that it does have that 45-degree bend right at the gas block. So one other issue to be concerned about if you were considering this gun as a combat weapon is going to be the same problem that the Brownell's BRN 180 has. And I'm not knocking the BRN 180. I own one. I love that gun, but it is not a gun I'm going to take out into the mud. This gun has a fairly large opening. I can almost stick my pinky into it behind the bolt carrier. If your gas port door is closed or your ejection port door is closed, that's not going to be an issue. However, once it's open, you have that opening for junk to get in there. So if you were laying on the ground fighting around in the mud and the dirt, that stuff can get in there very easily and disable your trigger or jam up your firing pin or prevent your bolt carrier from being able to move rearward. So again, nice lightweight gun, shoots very nice, enjoyable to shoot, not combat ready, and definitely has a couple of shortcomings. I wouldn't necessarily let those shortcomings dissuade you from buying one of these if you were considering it. Like I said, I do like it. Initially, when I was looking at it, I was figuring I was probably going to sell it as soon as I finished doing the review. But after shooting it, I changed my mind. I'm going to hang on to it. It's very possible that as I play around with this thing a little bit more, I might figure out ways to resolve the issues that I've been finding with it.